All right, guys, welcome in MTG Game State. We're back at it post Pro Tour Modern Horizons 3 Amsterdam. We did the Coast stream, we survived. I have a lot to talk about regarding that. We got some articles regarding Magic and just Assassin's Creed and some universes beyond. It's gonna be pretty nuts. Stick with me. We're gonna go. All right, guys, we're here. I wanted to talk real quick. The Pro Tour in Amsterdam was, in my opinion, it was pretty nuts. It's been my personal return to watching the Pro Tour. I've watched it like a bunch of times when I first started back in 2015, but now we're kind of in the new era of Magic, and it was really interesting. A lot of old school players and a lot of some newer people in the circuit grinding their way through. We opened up the whole Pro Tour in Amsterdam with draft of all the players. Jacob Nagro, picture on the screen here, he ended the whole first day of the Pro Tour, all 8 rounds, that's draft with Modern, undefeated. I thought that was pretty legendary, pretty king moves, and just creating a story, creating a legend for himself, and he earned his way up there. A lot of people at this table really did, besides some of the pros who've been in it for a while, or even people who've been playing Magic in earlier Pro Tours but kind of came back out, came back in. So really interesting there. Now, I wanted to talk about real quick some of the players that I thought had weird deck matchups, because early on in this tournament we saw 8 players, at least 63 points, I think 53.6% or 63 point something percent of decks at the Modern Horizons 3 Pro Tour were the Nadu combo deck with Shuko, which we'll get into. Out of the final 8, 4 had off-meta decks. At least one was a Nadu deck, but still, in my opinion, off-meta. The other 4 were on-brand, on-meta Nadu decks. Some crazy pilots, too. So. Pressing the wrong buttons, here we go. So, day 2 open up with Ma Noah, ending up winning the first day, the first round of draft. Took it all and made a name for himself, kind of making us forget about Jacob Negro in a new, fresh face, kind of fresh tournament grinder, also from South Korea, coming in, putting their hat in the ring. They were playing a mono black Necro deck, very aggro, something that was going to be really good to counter Nadu. And actually, in two for one here on my 4 players who played weird decks that I thought had a chance and I wanted to really see get matched up. Daniel Goldschul from Canada, he had a 4-color Nadu, which I consider off meta. I thought they had some really interesting plays. A lot of their deck was kind of a copy of the black Necro with the Nadu, like kind of a big mix there. Just kind of, you want to get the combo, but then you want to use one ring to kind of put pressure. I thought that was very interesting. At the end of all of this, I believe Daniel, he ended up winning, and it was pretty interesting. He would make his way up to the final 8. This is the semifinals we're watching, guys. All right, next up, Javier Dominguez and Simon Nielsen. Simon Nielsen, he had home turf advantage, and it was his birthday on the finals. This is the quarterfinals. He's going against Javier Dominguez, who before the quarterfinals, at the very beginning, before this, he got to even this game, Javier Dominguez climbed his fucking way up. He's getting beat on, and then finally got his deserved win. He had a huge celebration, really high energy, and him and his team, I believe it was Channel Fireball, they all, at least 3 of the people who entered from that team, including Simon, all ended up going to the finals. Really awesome. He was playing a Jeskai Control, which I thought was really interesting. He was using, as you see here, Dress Down, card I own that was doing work, countering Nadu, getting rid of all this mess right here that does abilities. Like, real good card to flash in. Not really truly a complete answer, but a good enough answer to stop things when the Nadu player can't get into the combo and buys you some turn. Everyone thought the Jeskai Control was really going to go far, but at the end of the day, towards the final 8, it just didn't make it. But I thought Javier had the whole team did well, but overall, personally, Javier was someone I wanted to get into the finals. Same with Noah Ma. I wanted him to get in the finals. Simon Nielsen, he climbed up out of nowhere and wanted him to get into the finals, so it was really good experience to see that. All right, moving on. Two people, 2 for 1 here. So another of my top 4 off-meta deck players was Seth Manfield with the black Necro deck. He actually climbed out of nowhere. He was getting beat on, like for real. He was getting straight beat on. Really came in out of nowhere at the semifinals and made a name for himself. He's an old school player, has a big name, big winnings, and I thought that was really sick. Went against my favorite player of this tournament, one of the top 2 actually. I only have a top 2 here. Eli Cassis, who's playing, in my opinion, one of the best Bant Nadu decks, even though it's kind of all the same. He piloted it very well, and he said on camera, you don't need Thassa's Oracle to play this deck and to know it. I thought it was very interesting. So 2 for 1 there. Because my second player I was rooting for, I really wanted to get into the finals. Jason Yee, also going against Sam Party in the quarterfinal. Sorry, I kept calling him semi. It was the quarterfinal, guys. Give me a break here. Sam Party was a person who was playing Bant Nadu that just climbed their way up out of nowhere after getting beat on by all the off-meta decks. Jason Yee was, in my opinion, one of the best Bant Nadu players coming out of nowhere. They were doing insane things, just getting into the combo. Once they're going, they can't be stopped. It's kind of the thing here with some of these cards. So the combo is gonna have, according to my notes here, you want Nadu, Shuko, Springheart, Nantuko, and we'll get into some cards later. But basically, Nadu has an ability where if we see here, creatures you control have, and this is important, creatures you control have, not one creature. Whenever, and then it goes into the quotes, blah, blah, and then it ends, this ability triggers only twice each turn. That means for each creature, Nadu's ability triggers twice, which is kind of a Thrasios land pull. Puts on land where you just like reveal cards until you get to what your combo piece would be. And you use Shuko or Outrider on core to use their 0 effect ability to just keep targeting tokens that you make with Springheart Nantuko. So you get all these effect triggers to create an infinite combo loop. And then you could use Core to Calling to find Outrider on core, which was doing, in my opinion, that card was doing more work than Nadu. And then Endurance kind of resets the loop from your graveyard, put all the lands back to hand. Jason Yee was someone who was doing this really well. They went against a mirror match with, in the quarterfinal, with Sam Party, who literally came out of nowhere and earned their right to be there. Jason Yee, in my opinion, should have Player of the Year. I don't think they have enough points to make it, but they are considered, and I think they were one of my favorite people in this tournament, along with Eli Cassis. Those are my top 2. There wasn't a top 3, it was the top 2. Okay? If it was a top 3, I'd say Noah Mott. All right. We just got a free advertisement there for Ambient Jungle Modern Mix 4 AM breaks. Make sure to subscribe and like. I'll tag them in the VOD. Now, I wanted to get into the ending of the tournament so we see who won. It was... we'll get the music killed here for a second. Here you go.
What an incredible final. Congratulations to Simon
We'll let them do this.
Nielsen
I saw this live. It was crazy.
Pro Tour victory. Frank, I've got to ask for your reaction after that. What an incredible entire tournament Simon has had. Not only this tournament, but indeed the
Hometown
season,
hero Simon
not only
Nielsen
this season,
on
but
his
the year
birthday.
before this, and now capping it off.
Let's go.
And maybe he's not done yet with this Pro Tour victory. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, absolutely.
The PR team was fired up this whole
Simon Nielsen made the top 8 of 5
Pro Tour. It's pretty awesome. I think we all started off like kind of flat, and it just kept going and going and going.
Was out of his
great.
reach. He was second.
Day 2 was probably the
earlier
best
this
part
year,
of this Pro Tour,
almost
in my
there.
opinion.
And now finally, we can not only call him our reigning player of the year, but also a Pro Tour champion. And
Speaking of Player of the Year,
Yeah.
Frank, we've been watching the Player of the Year race at the Pro Tour this year. We've got some updates for
It's the
you.
player of the year.
The
See,
reigning
Jason Yee
Player
at
of the
47.
Year,
I just don't
Simon
think they're going to get
Nielsen,
enough
is in the
points.
lead
We'll see. There's
again,
still
Frank.
Worlds tournament.
completely incredible.
But
the
Simon
player of
Nielsen's
the
just
year
real
is
leading,
Sports Players
and
World
they earn their
Tournament
right too.
and
They're
three
old school
Pro
players.
Tours this season,
Yuta
and then
Takahashi
World
as well.
Championship 30, which is
You
still
like
to
to
come
see
at Magic Golden
Javier
Series
as
in
well
late
earned their
November.
place. All these people earned
And
their place.
at the
up there.
moment, indeed, Simon Nielsen, our reigning
And the
player
Player of the Year award
just having
got
a
it got a
substantial
name,
lead.
a full name
He
now,
had
the Kai
an
Bude Award,
incredible
named
season.
after Kai Bude, one
Second
of the
place
most
at
legendary
Pro Tour
Magic players
Universe
of
at
all
Karlov
time.
Manor, then top 32 at the Pro Tour Thunder Junction, and now first place at Pro Tour Modern Horizon 3. This is a season for the ages, but indeed the World Championship is still to come. It is not decided yet, because a lot of incredible players are right on his heels. Jason Yee we saw, right? Top 16.
So I'm saying
top
Jason
eight,
Yee
top
was doing
eight. Seth Manfield, first place,
work.
another top 8. Javier Dominguez, 9th, 10th, top 8. And Sam Pardee, who played his heart out in this finals.
Absolutely.
I loved how he tried to combo off with the Sylvan Safekeeper.
Sam Pardee
Wonder.
climbed out of
Really
nowhere
did
to
his
get the
best
dub to
with
where they
the
got it
direction he had,
in
but
this
there's
tournament.
just no stopping Simon Nielsen.
Absolutely, there is not. And like I mentioned,
Can't stop him.
might not be done yet. Here with the
He's on a
trophy
good team, too.
presentation is Ailey Loney.
Thank you so much, Maria. Simon Nielsen, finally, I can say, Pro Tour champion. What is going on through your head right
Dude,
now?
it's this guy's birthday
I
too.
don't know, it's just like amazing to go through all of this. I felt like the narrative is just like works out so perfectly with the like, you know, top 8,
narrative.
top 4, top 3, top 2, and now finally this.
But yeah, he had a good story. He
I
really
don't
did
know,
have
I
it.
mean,
Legends and stories were
this
made
deck is
for
just
pros
Crazy
and new players
stupid,
alike.
and
I'm
glad I got
serious.
to play it before it's gone because it's gonna be gone.
Day 2 really
Do
set
not-
that.
do not invest.
Jacob Negro on day 1 also set that tone.
Oh right, no, invest in all my Shugos.
The Shugo got expensive and
Well,
they want
Simon, for
Nadu
you
banned.
too, yeah. Simon, I have to ask you, how much of your success over the last couple of years would you attribute to the wonderful players and team around you here?
Like all of it. Like, I mean, it's just I feel like my biggest strength as a player is that like I'm like a
homies.
sponge that like absorbs information, and I need to have the good information, and these guys are just so helpful and incredible to like be around and learn from, and I love it. I love you all. It's just been
Man, he's pie over the sky,
it's
for real.
seeing our success,
Got a lot
like,
to
also
say.
just, like, as a group, cheering each other on, and yeah, building this you know.
And there was good
machine.
sportsmanship. Even though there was a cheating,
Now, I have to
a
ask you,
little
Simon,
mishap, there
in Magic,
was
we talk about
great
inevitability.
sportsmanship this whole tournament.
And
It was
given
awesome.
your success, your string of top 8s, everything that you have accomplished over the last 2 years, it's inevitable that this moment was coming. But what's next?
I really want my own card, right?
Yeah, I mean, Javier guys.
All right, Simon, before I hand this trophy over to you, I need to ask, is there anything you would like to say to your family, your friends, your fans, anything at all?
Yeah, so speaking of that narrative, some of you might wonder why wasn't it 5 in a row? The reason is that Seattle wasn't a Magic Con, so there wasn't so many people here, and I just want to say thank you to all of you who came out here, who are watching on a big screen, like playing like all your games here, enjoying this incredible.
Yeah, this is like
Thank you all for being part of
I
it.
don't even remember how many. In my notes,
Here, here. Well, there's only
10K
one
audience
thing
in
left to do.
attendance,
Simon, I know
243
it's your
people
birthday,
day
so I
1,
got you a little
day
something.
2, 148,
This
day
is
3
yours.
down to
Let's
8.
give it up for our Pro Tour Modern
Pretty
Horizons
insane.
3 champion, Simon Nielsen!
All right, so that's the coverage. We have Worlds in Las Vegas, where all these people still have to compete, but for world champion for the whole world. So we'll see what happens. We'll be covering that. I believe it'll be in October. All right, moving on. Guys, I have some articles I wanted to bring up. Most expensive Assassin's Creed cards. It seems Assassin's Creed has kind of gotten like a flat response. It's an IP crossover set, but it is the core set. And usually core sets do tend to have a flat response. I know we got lucky with the Knights cycle and core set, I believe 19 or 20. And then core set 21, I also believe was a banger hit. So I know we've had that. And we're trying to capture lightning in a bottle by doubling down with IPs of Magic and other like, you know, pop culture icons. But I thought the spoilers for the Assassin's Creed standard set were pretty cool. I thought there actually was some pretty broken cards. It is kind of a, I believe we call it a top up set instead of a top down, where the design is more focused on the themes rather than the mechanics. This might be a mid-level where there's both. It kind of gets hybrid, but at a glance, latest MTG Universe Beyond crossover, Assassin's Creed is almost here, containing 100 cards. It's a micro set, and I think there's only like 4 or 5 green cards. It's definitely unusual, and I think it's coinciding with Bloomburrow release as well. But there are some familiar features. We can hardly wait, blah, blah, blah. More so than normal, MTG players will be wondering about the value of the Assassin's Creed cards they crack. With no limited environment to consider, I guess there's no limited? Each pack is nothing but value. Thanks to this, it's well worth knowing the most expensive cards that this set has to offer. If you're wondering exactly that, you got it lucky. Alright, so we're seeing Rooftop Bypass at number 1, $7. I thought this was a sick card. It's a 3-drop enchantment. Whenever one or more non-token creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, create a 1/1 black assassin creature token with menace. That was nuts. Looking at existing synergies, any commander that synergizes with frequent combat damage works wonders with Rooftop Bypass. So you got Olivia, Opulent Outlaw, Mari the Killing Quill, which is a pretty good card, but I guess I've never seen it as a commander. But okay. And so on and so on. Sword of Light and Shadow, the swords being reprinted, the OG swords, is nasty, and at $7, this is a bargain. We're not in the finance part of Magic of this segment just yet, of the MTG Game State segment, but this is a banger. You guys gotta buy it now. They already know. Capitoline Triad, this is a card people were really hyped on for this set, coming in at $8. And I'm just kind of gonna glaze over these. Heavier Battle Ready, $9. So it seems like, yeah, kind of lackluster. Some of these cards, the most expensive, we're getting into. Sword of Feast and Famine, one of the best swords in the whole cycle, $16, under 20. Still a bargain buy, in my opinion. Sure, you're gonna get Assassin's Creed art, but it's good Assassin's Creed art and some cool stuff. I believe that's the Egyptian one, maybe? Anyways, I digress. So it looks like 16, just right under 20 this set has. No straight bangers at like 50 or 30 or 40. Maybe in the future, as the set kind of gets its life and more, it like kind of combos in with more standard stuff, but I don't know. I just thought that was interesting. I want to talk about that. Just real quick glance. Now, speaking of Universes Beyond, top 10 most valuable Beyond cards. 14th Doctor's $52. Guys, the Doctor cards, the Commander, I believe this is a secret layer, which is actually pretty expensive too. But one of the big criticisms of the 4 Doctor Who Commander decks was there wasn't a unified Commander to play every Doctor. 14th Doctor finally made viable with that in this secret layer drop, okay? I think that's pretty banging. That's hot. We're getting into some premium shit. This is the Evil Dead, Cabin of the Dead, which is Field of the Dead, the infamous auto ban card, almost $60. I like that. It's an iconic. Everyone knows this cabin. Films have used it. It's good to have on a Magic card. Dol Amroth, which is Mononimo, which is already an expensive card as it is. It got a reprint in the Commander version of Lord of the Rings, which I believe this card might already have another print in the mass printings they did of that set. Still holding value because it's good. The Party Tree, which is the Great Henge, which was already an expensive card, but as the Party Tree in the Commander set, again, really expensive, commanding a high price of almost $90. Cavern of Souls, this was the cheaper variant, was Pass of the Dead. We've talked about it before on MTG Game State. This was the cheaper version of this card, coming in at $50, so matching what it used to be, basically. Tomb of Yawgmoth being $90. This is insane. A lot of the Lord of the Rings cards, people said this was a dead set. They're goofy. They're honestly goofy. We've talked about Balin's Tomb, but this being $156 is pretty insane. Probably kind of went up way in price since last we covered it. And then the One Ring coming in at $2 as a funky poster art for $203. This version is one of the banned poster printings included in the later holiday release of Tales of Middle-earth. So it's a rare treatment for a rare card found only in collector's boosters. So you can only get these in collector's boosters. That was crazy. Anything here we might have missed or skipped over? No, these are just the commander deck cards. But I think you might only be able to pull these in the set boosters though, which is kind of a thing. So it might be a set within a set. And then the Fallout Vault Boy Secret Lair coming at $1,000. What? Most valuable Universes Beyond card isn't Lord of the Rings. Instead, it's a rare bonus card. Randomly included alongside the Fallout Vault Boy Secret Lair drop. Oh, Secret Lairs, when you get cards, they have a secret hidden card you didn't know about. This must be it. So this must be have been in random seeded Secret Lairs of Vault Boy, though. Like Ancient Tomb, One Ring, and Party Tree, Mana Vault is an all-timer for Commander. It's a banger. It's Fallout, entirely exclusive in nature. So there you go. Now, we have a shit ton of stuff to get into. Pardon my French, guys, but I'm going. I'm not stopping. Bloomborough is going to be an animal-themed set. I really like the trailer. If you guys can look it up, I suggest watching it. This little mouse is going to be the little hero. It's themed around... It's not directly ripping from it, but it's themed around a story called Mouse Guard. Couldn't get the IP, so they did this. And I think it's going to be a cool, interesting plane. I kind of see like some still fairy tale-ness in there, some high fantasy. The spoilers are pretty mid. Not anything we haven't already seen, and the Duskmourn spoilers as well kind of came out. Twitching Dolls, very interesting. Schemes and what is it called? I'm blanking. Arch Enemy. That was a set in Magic's history. Look, do your own research. It's going to be coming back in the Commander for Duskmourn, House of Horror. Twitching Doll is a very interesting card. I really think it's going to be a chase card. And so we got some schemes, got some swamps. Nothing too crazy. I mean, Doomsday Excruciator, 2/4/6 flying. When Doomsday enters cast, it was cast. Each player exiles all but the bottom 6 cards of their library face down, gaining your upkeep draw. This card's going to be nuts, especially in probably limited and 60 card formats. 6 black's not that hard to get to realistically. What the hell? It's going to have an 80s theme as well, so we're going to get 80s kind of TV card prints. I like that. Come back wrong, destroy target creature. It's put into the graveyard this way. Return it to the battlefield under your control. Sack it. This is going to be a big destroy card, even though it's sorcery speed. And this looks like we're getting anime prints in this as well. I like that. I saw the cat though. 9 lives familiar. With 8 revival counters on it. If you cast it, when it dies, if it had revival counter, return it to the battlefield 1 fewer. Get to the next on step. This is going to be nutty as well. Alright guys, so that was just quick overview. We've already done Duskmourn spoilers. There's nothing really big coming out really too much yet. We'll see as the set drops. Now, getting to the end of this beefy ep. A big thing I noticed at the Pro Tour for our first card. Elegant Parlor. The Surveillance in Standard are really good because they help, not necessarily for your color fixing, even though that is good. It's more about getting into combo pieces, and that really helped in Modern for sure. Even though they come in tap, they still, it's like a scribe, but then helping Graveyard. I think that's really broken. Rising up to $7, so market price 7, like almost $8, average rounding out for both people buying and listing. So this could come up to a $10, maybe $15 card, since it was this cycle, not specifically just this card, but this cycle was doing good. It was in Jeskai control, obviously. Ruby Storm, Bant, all these archetypes were in Modern. So I can only imagine, yeah, the borderless art is probably going up extremely. We're seeing average listing $29, market's buying at 16. So, good getting into your combo pieces. Even in Commander, I think these are going to be really good, no matter the color. Speaking of Commanders, a card I own a bunch of. I keep typing on the wrong keyboard. From Commander Legends, Kedis Emberclaw Familiar. Jumping up to close to $6. People are listing it. People are buying for $3. sorry, people are listing it for 3. Market's buying for 5. Pretty broken. I've seen this card do a lot of damage. Whenever a commander you control deals combat damage to an opponent, it deals that much to each other opponent. I bet you it has some poison shenanigans. So maybe that's what we're getting into. A foil etched. Kind of keeping steady under $10. That's interesting. So just wanted to highlight that. Nothing too crazy. Now, again, I keep typing on the wrong keyboard because my keyboard's broke. A card that these types of cards we've talked about where you get free costs off of them. 3 dropped, 1 of any color, 2 black, instant speed, Force of Despair. It's not your turn. You may exile a black card from your hand rather than pay the spell's mana cost. Destroy all creatures that enter the battlefield this turn. This was good for the black Necro deck, getting against Nadu counters. There was an old school card we covered, I believe from Cold Snap. Maybe that has a similar ability. This is from Modern Horizons. Modern Horizons, the first one, was a banging set. So this will command a high price. I expect to go up to 15, but in Modern and in the 60 card format, it's doing good, staying at $10. Average people are buying is 10, market's listing at 10. Using the Jeskai Control, Jund Shadow, and Rakdos and Grixis Shadow decks. Very, very interesting. Probably pick it up pretty cheap. Now, I had 3 different honorable mentions, but I think we're going to monitor 2 of them, and I'm just going to go for this one. On the wrong keyboard again. Echo of the Eons. This card, Modern Horizons 1 set, card I own, creeping up to $40. It's market's buying at 30, average listing's 34 bucks. Legacy of all places, 60 card formats are coming back. They're doing their thing. We all joke that Modern Horizons was the commander set, but come on. So this is probably good for just fucking with opponents and getting combo pieces back. Each player shuffles their hand and graveyard into their library, then draws 7 cards. And Modern Horizons is probably a limited set, pretty hard to get. It was the first premium set of the summer series we got, replacing master sets. I could easily see this hitting 40 bucks. So that is the MTG Game State segment, guys. I went in really hard on that. Hope you like it. Let me know what you hate, what you like. All the links to everything will be in the description as always. That's it. I love you.